So this is the aftermath of me watching Cascade. I still can't words. I just like screamed at somebody on the AIM who's not even online for the past like 2 minutes. I gotta get my ass into gear. I gotta start Act 6. God damn. I feel like that took months, which it literally did. End of Act 5.
It's 2:30.
I thought that was Intermission 2. Homestuck, you're the biggest cock tease in existence. Okay, begin Intermission 2 then. Lord Spanish. Well, that was unpleasant. Explain why he's missing a leg. Let's start with Surface on. Shiny. Certainly knows how to be creepy as fuck. Of the 8-ball aesthetic. Well then. Intermission 2 over. I don't really feel like chopping it into that many videos, so let's hit Act 6 with an S page. Pew! I was waiting for them to flip it turnways. Okay. Washington. In the fall? It's November, I guess. Problem sleuth. Beautiful sunrise. Oh, you cutie. God damn it, I still can't read Alternian. Oh well. I'm sure somebody will provide an explanation. Homestuck? An explanation translation? Homestuck. Part 2. A young lady stands in her bedroom. It just so happens that today, the 11th of November 2011, is the date scheduled for the launch of a highly exclusive playtesting experience for a much anticipated game. The young lady is expecting to find this game in her mailbox today. She's expecting the game to be enclosed in a pair of envelopes, and printed on these envelopes, she's expecting to find her name. What do you suppose the name on the envelopes will be? I don't know. Maybe... Jane Crocker! You cannot enter her name. It was already engraved in her honorary placronym on her 13th birthday, which was about 2.5 years ago, and has been sitting here neatly on the bookshelf ever since. Attempting to engrave it with another name after completing this sacred rite of passage is practically unheard of, and is a gesture nearly as offensive as it would be if you tried to name her something dumb like Barnstench Fartface. Luckily, she's not the sort to hold a grudge, and will let it slide this time, as long as you hurry up and get her big day started. She was just on her way to the registrar's office to get her name legally changed to something silly like Nana Egbert. Examine room. It's very red. Red objects are red. Your name is Jane. As was previously mentioned, you are poised for an elite opportunity to test the Esberb Alpha. It is so elite, in fact, you are the only of your kind invited to playtest. Though you guess that probably comes with the territory being the heiress apparent to a baked goods empire. You don't suppose it hurts that you are said empire's #1 fangirl either. It should come as no surprise that you enjoy baking, but you also adore reading detective stories. You fancy yourself a skilled prankstress, if by no measure than lineage. Though at times you feel it's tough to fill those shoes when you are surrounded by jokers. Seriously, the shenanigans perpetrated by your pals make your old school japes feel kind of pedestrian sometimes, but oh well, you love them all anyway. You once dabbled in amateur botany, but found it too frustrating because your vegetables kept actually, you know what, you don't want to talk about it. You love situation comedies whilst holding particular affection for mustachioed funny men. You know, your Foxworthys, your Funks, your Swansons, but not necessarily your Gallaghers per se, because you have to draw the fucking line somewhere. Watermelon. You are also pleased to contemplate frightening fauna, though saddened by their regrettable fakeness attribute. But none of that is on your mind now, because you are psyched about the special date, 11-11-11, i.e. 2x3 prong a day, whatever that means, a date exhibiting this sort of numerical gimmick corporations love to exploit for their big releases, or for launching major rebranding initiatives. In the case of your cherished multi-global empire, both such events are slated to happen today. You can't wait to see what is in store and for the mail to come. When it does, you will waste no time in embarking on the game's maiden voyage, and if a fraction of what you've heard out turns to be true, you are prepared to have the time of your life! What will you do? Gee, I don't know. What will you do? Quickly retrieve arms from chest. Jane is not empowered to rehash this tired running gag because all of a sudden she's too busy being the other guy. We need to figure out what this fellow's name is, pronto! I love the posters, though. Jake English. Once again, you make the incalculable blunder of attempting to engrave an already allocated plaquenum. His name was etched when he turned 13, too, almost 3 years ago. It has been sitting here messily in this unbelievably deadly pile of guns ever since. What sort of vulgar, childish moniker were you going to stick this poor bastard with? Barf breath turd smirk? Pretty much accurate. It doesn't even matter, just tell him what to do. Examine room. My room looked a lot like this way back in the day. I love his Ghost Rider poster. But seriously, it was like that, but all band posters. He's got a Twi'lek over there. The Mummy, Demon, Hulk. Mummy, Demon, Hulk. Sounds an awful lot like Lord English. Also, Avatar. Approval. Plus, plus. Your name is Jake. You love movies. All movies! You would describe your taste in films as eclectic, but in truth, it isn't much less than totally indiscriminate. You bluster frequently of exuberance for firearms and fisticuffs and adventure, though have no human company with which to share these interests. But who needs chums when you can enjoy a top-notch gander of your gals of cerulean complexion, hubba hubba. You're known to be found with your nose in a comic book or two, not that it makes you a nerd or anything, like you even care about that. Not a gent of your panache and swagger, qualities which you would bandy with aplomb on your globe-spanning adventures, hypothetically speaking. You would love to travel around the world, toppling any sacred urns you encounter. You'd be tickled by the opportunity to defile hallowed tombs everywhere, raiding them of their treasures, and how you'd give your right leg for a shot at desecrating the shit out of some real-life mystic ruins with their Byzantine wares. Why do I get the feeling that he sympathizes more with the humans in Avatar than he does with the Na'vi? Jake. Luckily for your limb, there is a dandy set of such ruins nearby, and you desecrate them quite frequently. You are also troubled to contemplate frightening fauna, and plagued daily by their regrettable realness attribute. What else? You sure like to wrestle. Did you mention fisticuffs yet? You know, scrums and whatnot. Also skulls. Gosh, you love skulls. There is a good skull at the heart of any mystery, haunting its every page. That is what you always say. Or, at least, it is what you always hope. What will you do? Retrieve arms from the floor, post-haste! Oh. Who could they be? Oh. It actually does something. You make a dutiful motion towards your trusty firearms, doing your part to assail the mushy carcass of a horse that passed away long ago, when suddenly a wild character select screen approaches! You really feel like you're in the driver's seat now. You can basically take the story literally anywhere, as long as you don't pick one of those shadowy characters, and as long as the panels are actually finished being drawn. It is like this whole panoramic cornucopia of limitless possibilities sprawling before your very eyes. Leathery good. Who do you want to be? Roll Owl? Nope, can't do it. How about Distract? Nope, can't do it. So... Locations. Low actions, low actions, low actions. How about Jane, because she's on the left, and I always go left. You are suddenly Jane again. What was it you were up to? Oh, right, this game. You're very excited about that. Earlier this morning, you thought you heard the mail truck, even though the mail never comes in the morning. But just to be sure, you rushed downstairs to check, even though due to recent events you are forbidden from leaving the house. Alas, it was not there, and you sort of spaced out at the sky with a goofy grin on your face for no great reason, and then you were caught red-handed by your guardian. Then you got in trouble. You think you might be grounded now? Whatever, Dad. Examine fetch modus. Spoon. Recipe. It's a piece of cake to bake a pretty cake. Okay. It's your recipe modus, an extremely handy little inventory widget your dad got you for your birthday a couple years ago. He can be a real hard-ass sometimes, not really. But he sure knows how to spoil his little girl. Captcha-log it. Ding. You stick the recipe modus in your... recipe modus. You flip the card over and look at the back. The thing about this modus you think is really cool is that instead of showing a completely useless, wobbly, garbled code on the back, it itemizes the components which could be used to create it. In a completely hypothetical framework, of course. Just another wonderful innovation by your favorite company. It releases many products of an experimental nature, often with applicability to other kinds of technology and products which haven't hit the market yet. Of course, as the heiress, you are privy to all the sweetest gear in advance. Maybe you'll rummage through some of that stuff later. The modus as a capture-logged object has only one simple recipe involving an array modus, snore, and a cookbook. Yes! Other objects with more varied and elaborate recipes, though. Oh, that's really adorable. Stop being so cute. Get hat? Oh. You capture log your favorite hat, which is also your only hat. You spent basically your entire childhood in this hat, pretending to be hard-boiled detectives and whatnot. In public, you and your dad made quite the pair. Everyone could tell by a glance that you were your father's daughter, sired from his loins directly and genetically, though it was undoubtedly a natural process of human procreation involving a man and a woman. Or some mpreg, who knows. People would definitely nod and say, yep, that little lady sure did emerge from a womb on account of that gentleman's awesome virility. It reminds me of this conversation I had with some girl once. I don't even remember where I was or what we were talking about. I think it was something like, she was talking about how she can't look at pregnant women and be like, oh, you're having a baby. She looks at them and goes, you had sex, and sex made you have pregnancy. It was just really funny to me for some stupid reason. Let's see if that scroll bar was real. As you can see, there are loads of ways to cook up a hat like this, involving many stupid combinations of random objects. Shaving almanac and a T-bone steak. A matriorb? What? Okay. This is billions of diamonds. Inspect posters. It's one of your funny men pinups, a glorious Foxworthy, worthy of foxes. It's one interest that overlaps with your dad's. He thinks his corny redneck shtick is just the funniest thing since sliced bread that was sliced by a hilarious clown with a laugh knife. Honestly, you don't care much for his comedy, though. Dealing with the low income you call a class's affectionate sass ad nauseum isn't what you call your cup of tea. You just think he's really handsome. Every time he starts rattling off pointers on how to self-diagnose pumpkinhood. Yep. You might be a redneck. You just get lost in that pair of blue twinklers and those soft auburn lip bristles. You were so shy when you got that poster autographed. If only you felt worthy of that fox. Oh, and there's one of your Problem Sleuth posters. You got a lot of Problem Sleuth stuff because you think detective stories are just swell. This is the last panel in the first story, which ended a little before your 13th birthday. Since then, the author's been steadily updating Problem Sleuth 2, which you have been following avidly. You are happy that he stayed in that lane and stuck with a time-tested formula. If you went in a different direction, you probably would have found it really disappointing. I never did finish it. I got really, really bored. I really didn't think Problem Sleuth was that great. Check out other posters? Well, then. Another sleuth poster, of course. It's two of your favorite dames ever. The Tobias and the Manhattan were gifts for your 14th birthday sent to you by your good buddy Jake. Just a couple of periwinkle heartthrobs, unquestionably sent in playful retaliation for the ribbing you've given him over the years for his inexplicable infatuation with his fallow femmes. So you made a couple of coy recommendations for the objects of your interaction, and you have hung his cobalt beefcakes here ever since. He was pretty spot on with the blue funk, to be honest, because that's like the best show ever. Mr. Cross can blue himself at any time as far as you're concerned. But the Manhattan, not so much. Comics aren't really your thing, but you hung it up anyway because that's the sort of thing you do in a mildly escalating feud of passive-aggressive one-upmanship. You own it. But you felt kind of weird about having his blue mutant penis to dangle over your head while you sleep, so you covered it up with something even more obscene. Some sort of revolting troll Howie Mandel, also gifted to you by Jake. Good lord, does that kid have some spotty tastes. There's also your magnificent Swanson. Ron Swanson is the perfect man. You have tried to order all of the bacon and eggs in a restaurant on several occasions, but your dad never lets the order go beyond the joke level. What a fuddy-duddy. That's just hilarious. I love the mustache. Oh, man. These kids are just so cute. Take spoon. Strike specific spoon kind. Janica Zam. You tuck your trusty Junior Batter Master's Bullbuster Stirring Solution 50,000 into your strife deck, allocated with the ever martially pragmatic spoon kind. You wouldn't have it any other way. You love your fancy spoon. It has several million recipes stored in it and walks you through each step with a soothing female robot voice, just like in science fiction. Some urban legends say the device also broadcasts subliminal messages distributing ominous Crocker Corp propaganda about fairy godparents. But you don't put any stock into that sort of baloney for a second. There is one switch on it that doesn't seem to do anything. Maybe yours is defective? Still, it's perfectly serviceable and has assisted you in whipping many a cake into delicious submission. Gotta do the cooking by the book. You know you can't be lazy. Examine bunnies. These customized bunnies were gifts to you on your 13th birthday from two of your friends. Both were heirlooms passed down to them, and they decided to coordinate gift ideas and send you dressed-up versions of their beloved childhood toys. You like to think he was shooting for a detective bunny with the one on the left, but you know realistically it was probably an Indiana Jones bunny, more in line with his interests than yours, especially since it came with a little whip that you've since misplaced. The bunny used to belong to his grandma. The other one used to belong to your friend's mom, and she dressed it as a wizard, which was also unapologetically more representative of her interests than yours. That's okay, though. You love the gesture anyway, and you and G are totally BFFCs forevers, in her words, and you agree with them. She's a lot like I am in that sense. That's really cute. I like people who do that. They're like, I made you this thing, and it's like really their thing, but you think it's really cute because they made their thing for you, and you're like, I love you. And I feel the need to cuddle my giant bunny. You did get one more bunny from your other pal. He had to make it himself from scratch, since for some ridiculous reason he didn't happen to have a ratty old bunny heirloom lying around. His gift was somewhat less innocuous. You have no idea where it is, though. Probably just as well. Lookout window. Your face is so cute! You've been fidgeting around your room all day, making little observations about your various belongings, checking the clock. When will the dang mail get here? You take another peek out the window, just in case. It's still not there, but there's your dad. What's he up to? Yeah, my friend who lives in Washington would probably think that this is not a very accurate representation of Washington in the middle of the friggin' November. Washington gets cold as fuck, apparently. There's no such thing as warm. He just captured the car. Oh, that's right. He was going to wash it today. He's probably taking it to the backyard next to the garden hose. He keeps a very busy fatherly itinerary. So many dad things to do every single day. If the mail arrives soon, this would be a great opportunity to sneak out and get it. Fingers crossed. Looks like somebody is bothering you. Better make it quick. You've got a window to stay glued to. Go to computer. Yeah, I remember that. Betty Bother. You know you really should switch to Pester Chum. It's what your friends use, and it's a lot better than Betty Bother, if you're being honest with yourself. BB is just so spammy and annoying with all the pop-ups everywhere. Be the first to visit Mars, obey. Fruit gushers. Oh, that's really, really weird. Guy Fieri? Oh, it's not pronounced Fieri, it's like Fieri or something. It like sounds like a T, but it's like not. Okay. Ugh, look at this dreadful clutter. You've got to switch. But then, brand loyalty is a powerful thing. Looks like Jake is messaging you. Answer Jake. Golgotha's Terror, GT, began bothering Gutsy Gumshoe, GG, at 11:05. Jane! Forgive my botherations. I know this is meant to be a spanking rip-snorter of a day for you and all. But do you happen to know where the devil fucking dickens Mr. Strider might be? Oh, that's fine. I've been meaning to message you sooner, actually, but I suppose it's all in the hubbub today. It's plums slipped my mind. Which is a shocking fact on its lonesome, considering what I have to tell you. Egad. Should I read his actions? I read Nempedo's, but hers read his complete sentences. Then again, I tend to say my actions, loosens color a bit. As for the Strider business, he's an elusive guy, Jake. You know that. I talked to him yesterday. That's as much help as I can be. Shoot. I really need to ask him something, but he's got his blasted autoresponder turned on. I love that thing. He wouldn't be pleased to hear you say that. What do you need with him? Does this have to do with your crazy pen pal project? It most certainly does, and time is of the essence. Today is the day I have to finish it and send it, not a day later. So you see why I'm feeling really friggin' discombobulated at the moment. Sorry, Jay. This would be the birthday present for your grandmother? No, it is for your grandfather simply to be relayed to him by my grandmother. A joint gift from him, she and I. Her and me. What? Who and you now? A joint gift from her and me. Grammar, Jake. Oh, for frig's flipping sake, Jane, this is no time for your prudish pedantry. Leave your bookish malarkey in the dusty old library somewhere. I have an adventure to get on with. And an accent to keep badly impersonating. Hi, I'm Jake English, and I don't actually have an accent. So, if I have this straight, the big thing hogging up your plate today is not this marvelous new game which I have invited you to play with me, but finishing a robotic rabbit to give to my dead Pop-Pop? Bingo. Double pistols and a wink. Don't ever do that again. You are a very strange and silly boy. Please, Jane, we have addressed this. I am sending the gift back in time to when they are both alive and about our age. Or something like that. Something funny is going on here that I have not fully grappled yet, but dagnabbit if I'm not going to see it through. Well, Godspeed then. I do hope you can pull it off. Are you being fresh with me now? No. Look, Jane, I know you've never believed me and you think everything I say is some big cockamamie goof-off. But I think today of all days is when you should stop taking some things more seriously. Especially since I have always had your back. I have always believed in you. Hey, I have believed in you too. However, believing somebody isn't the same as believing in somebody. But that much said, I think that maybe I'm getting ready to believe some of the wild stories I've heard. Or, if not believe outright, reserve judgment on, at least. Is that so? I don't know. I'm still not sure what to think. But what I wanted to tell you this morning was, I had a really wild dream last night. And you were in it. Oh my, glasses fuck up, fumbles for kerchief. It's not like that. It was so real. I think we were in the game, even though we haven't started playing yet. I don't know what to make of it. Whether it was a vision of the future, or somewhere that exists now, or if it was just a really lucid dream due to excitement. What was I doing there? Not a heck of a lot. I really want to tell you all about it, but it will take some time to explain, and we both have things to attend to. You with your time-traveling rabbit work, and I, my vigilant window gazing. Too true. Let us reconvene later and sort out all this shit at a leisurely pace. Yes, okay, good luck, Jake. Okay, to you too, Jane. Bye. Gogotha's Terror, GT, ceased bothering Gutsy Gumshoe, GG. Check clock. Good idea. Hold the phone. 11:10. You almost forgot! 1 minute until the Empire's rebranding launch? You wonder if it will live up to the hype? Guess we'll find out. Wait a minute. You ran another 60 seconds in... Huh? Something happened to your baking chest. Did the logo just change? You wonder what else might have been affected. Oh my god, that's really weird. They didn't adjust her hair to compensate. Her entire eyes moved. Look around? Yep, this one changed too. Crocker Corp is nothing if not thorough with its branding tactics. You guess it's pretty cool? It's just a fork instead of a spoon. Not the most awe-inspiring logo you've ever seen. But who are you to judge? Aside from the future owner of the company, you make a mental note that when you turn 18 and inherit the company, you will change it back to a spoon. You love the spoon. 'Tis a good idea.